In this episode, I will be responding to the book Portrait of a Killer by Patricia Cornwell and looking at her Jack the Ripper suspect, Walter Sickert. Jack the Ripper was a serial killer who operated in England in 1888, and whatever happened before or after that is still part of the mystery. Other observations that Patricia Cornwell has made about the case relate to the letters that were written by Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was not only a serial killer, but also letters have been attributed to the killer that are more or less bragging about the crimes and threatening to commit more. And what Patricia Cornwell did was she first looked at the Jack the Ripper letters, and she came to the simple conclusion that they were hoaxes, a widely held belief that the letters were not actually written from the killer. The Dear Boss letter, the Saucy Jackie postcard, the From Hell letter, the Openshaw letter, she thought they were hoaxes. But this is a shocking turn in the book. This is something that really surprised me, where she just had a very big reversal, and she began to think, okay, these letters are authentic. Not only that, there are hundreds of letters that are authentic, and they were written by Walter Sickert. And the way that she justifies all of this is by stating that there is this type of artistic flair that is used in the letters, and she believes that Walter Sickert was intentionally altering the way that he was creating all of the letters in the Ripper case. That's why there's different handwriting on the From Hell letter compared to the Dear Boss letter. That's why there's different handwriting on the Openshaw letter compared to the From Hell letter. And she actually estimates that there were around 250 authentic letters from Jack the Ripper. And I mean, I had to do a double take on that sentence, because 250 letters that were actually authentic from Jack the Ripper. I've even misunderstood that, but that's just so far beyond belief for me to try and comprehend. And this is a book discussion, so I'm just going to share with you guys what I really think, and that is that it seems like she was going into this with somewhat of a rational and clear-headed mind, and maybe she went down the rabbit hole a little too fast, and she started connecting the dots in a way that shouldn't have been connected, and then is just jumping to conclusions about, okay, this is authentic and that's authentic, and 250 letters from Jack the Ripper. I don't know if I can accept that. And here's something else that I will challenge even more harshly. A core element of Patricia Cornwell's research in the Ripper case, and one of the things that she is famous for, is stating that she believes that the Openshaw letter was authentic, and it contained DNA from Walter Sickert. And the story is actually shared in Portrait of a Killer, and she provides some additional information which is actually somewhat valuable, because one of her claims was that there was a mitochondrial DNA match to Walter Sickert on the Openshaw letter that came after, well, the From Hell letter, and it's almost like a follow-up to the From Hell letter. It's addressed to Dr. Thomas Openshaw, who examined the kidney that was partnered with the From Hell letter. And what she is saying is that in the book she openly concedes that, okay, I said this in the past about the mitochondrial DNA match, but number one, mitochondrial DNA does not completely confirm a suspect. Tens of thousands of people could have had the same amount of mitochondrial DNA. Number two, she isn't 100% sure if that mitochondrial DNA match is even from Walter Sickert because of the possibility of contaminants. And I do think that that's somewhat impressive, that she's openly stating it and openly laying it out that, yeah, all right, that could be somebody else's. There's so much time that's gone by, the way that things were handled, that could have been a contaminant. And number three, this is something else that I think it's very good for her to admit. It's very big of her to admit that there is not a lot of forensic evidence that will connect her suspect, Walter Sickert, to the Jack the Ripper case. She openly said that it was an extremely difficult struggle to try and connect any type of DNA or forensic evidence to Walter Sickert, and she openly admits that it's not there. And furthermore, she even states that Walter Sickert was cremated when he died, so his body can't be exhumed or anything of the sort. And, I think that speaks for itself, that there is insufficient evidence. We're not going to get exactly some type of DNA match conclusively about Walter Sickert, but Patricia Cornwell is optimistic in the book Portrait of a Killer when she states that maybe just some way, somehow, something could have been preserved, some type of object might have his DNA. Maybe there could be DNA on some of the letters. But here's a bigger point that I want to challenge. I do not believe the Openshaw letter is authentic. The way that I would rank the letters in terms of likelihood of being authentic from the killer would be number 1, the From Hell letter, number 2, the Dear Boss letter, number 3, the Saucy Jackie postcard. Maybe the Openshaw letter could be number 4, but I strongly believe that that letter was not written by the killer. I think the Openshaw letter was a piss poor imitation of the From Hell letter, someone who knew about the contents of the From Hell letter, and they tried to imitate the horrific nature of the From Hell letter. They tried to imitate the type of calligraphy almost that is used in the From Hell letter, because Patricia Cornwell might be right about one thing. That is someone who's exaggerating their handwriting in a certain way to make it look more horrific. Okay, that could be true about the From Hell letter, but I think the Openshaw letter is a blatant misrepresentation of that. I think it's a blatant mischaracterization of that, and I think someone simply tried to pretend to be Jack the Ripper. However, the text of the Openshaw letter is not horrible in terms of being a hoax. I just think the image, the handwriting, is all not only completely different, I think it's also badly different. And I have a standalone episode on, well, actually all of those letters, I've done standalone episodes on them.